Hey, the OU Football Hater Club is filling up quite nicely as they get ready to head into the SEC in 2024. The doubters are all out there. National media pundits, definitely moronic fans like the ones from Mizzou. And now even a sports book. FanDuel comes in with kind of low expectations. Let's talk about it and why it's probably a good thing to let everybody sleep. Welcome, everybody, to Hall of Fame Sooner Network. I am your host, Jason Watkins. If you love college football and particularly Oklahoma Sooner football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame Sooner Network. Welcome in, everybody. I would like to welcome in all my Sooner fans who are joining us here on Hall of Fame Sooner Network. This is our new channel that we started up here just this past week or so. Going to be putting all of the content that's all Oklahoma stuff on here. I'd love it if you would go ahead and subscribe to this channel as well. Get that up there. We are sponsored by a number of folks, but we have our newest sponsor, Mint Mobile. You're going to love it. Get 3 months unlimited talk, text, and data for just $45. That's just $15 a month. Say goodbye to big wireless and hello to smart wireless. Jump on with Mint Mobile. Try mintmobile.com/HOF. Web address is right there, top left of your screen. Make sure you jump on there. Support Mint Mobile. It supports the show. Great opportunity to help the show and save lots of money at the same time. All right, let's talk a little bit about these FanDuel win total projections that we saw come out at the end of last week. Of course, a lot of love going in the direction of pretty much everybody except your Oklahoma Sooners. Let's take a look. So as you can see, right here we have the 2024 SEC win projection totals that were put out by FanDuel this past week. There was also a couple of we've seen some that have them even lower than this, but FanDuel has Oklahoma at 7.5 wins on the over/under. Now, what I would tell you when it comes to Vegas, I mean, generally you can generalize and say that they're always pretty damn close, right? That's not necessarily true. And the reason why is this, and I've lived in Vegas for a long time, so I and I've sports gamble a lot. Let me just put it to you this way. There's going to be times that Las Vegas, generally speaking, you expect that they're going to put out a number that they believe is true. And a lot of times Las Vegas is pretty close to what they put out there. In fact, most of the time. These odds makers pretty much know what they're doing. What I would also tell you is when it comes to stuff like this, they've got a lot of time that they can move that projection. There's not going to be a ton of bets on it right now necessarily, except that this is a time that if you are an Oklahoma fan and you believe what most of us believe, you should be hammering the over. They generally, though, as the sportsbook doesn't want to put itself at risk, right? So sometimes you'll see the line move one way or the other because the public is betting too much on one way, and it puts the sports book at risk. That if the public is all betting over for Oklahoma, they're going to want to move that up. So it'll go from 7.5. It might go up to 8.5 now because that would entice people to automatically bet the other way. Okay. You want to have even amount of bets on both sides if you're the sports book. So they aren't at risk of having to pay out a big amount to the public instead of, the public paying each other off. So you got equal amount of bets on both sides, it doesn't put the casino at risk that much, if that makes sense. Eat the hell out of it. Obviously, you have Georgia and Texas at 10.5 wins. Alabama's still at 9.5. So is LSU. So is Mizzou and Ole Miss. So, and then you got Tennessee at 8.5, A&M at 8.5, Auburn tied with OU at 7.5. Then it goes to Kentucky, Arkansas at 6.5, Florida at 5.5. Same with South Carolina, Mississippi State at 4.5, and Vandy at 2.5. Now, as I said, a lot of times what you'll see is they are trying to entice bets, entice action on it. So that's something you need to look at. Now, what I would tell you is this is a little wild because to me, I'm not too sure about Alabama here, right? We just saw that Ryan Grubb, or the offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach, Ryan Grubb, OC, and their O-line coach, they're gone to the Seahawks, right? They lost a lot of guys off of that roster as well. Now, they were able to keep most of their recruiting intact, and it looks like Ryan Grubb obviously left at a good times because the portal is no longer open for Alabama. But I feel like you probably – do I see 9.5, 10 wins? Maybe, right? What you have to look at is that's a tough schedule for Alabama. I would probably go under there. I could see them winning 9. I could see them winning 8. Do you expect them to? Maybe, maybe not. You got to remember that Kalen DeBoer also hasn't lost a lot of football games in his career. The ones that make me laugh, and I'm not sure about LSU either because I know that they're probably going to be better on defense. They lost the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback and their best receivers to the league. They're going to have to be a lot better on defense for them to get to that 9.5, 10 number, right? To go over. Those are probably both unders, even though they may not be much under, right? Those are 2 games that Oklahoma has. One of them at home, one of them on the road, and they're back-to-back. Now, this is where you start having to talk about what Oklahoma is going to probably end up doing. Now, the other one, Ole Miss. I agree that they've got a lot of talent. They picked up a lot of talent in the portal. They've got Jackson Dart coming back. You know, they did some good things. Juice Wells. You know what? The guy hasn't stayed healthy. He didn't stay healthy at South Carolina. As good as he was the year before, he just didn't show us much, right? So we got to wait and see on these guys. Now, Tennessee at 8.5. Yeah, maybe. They had 9 wins last year, didn't have a very good quarterback. They kept a lot of their team intact. We'll kind of see what that is. It's laughable to me that Texas A&M is at that 8.5 number. Okay? Laughable to me. They won 7 last year. They're probably not as good as they were a year ago. They lost some guys to the portal. They picked up a lot of guys in the portal as well. But first year, even though I like Mike Elko, it's still A&M, okay? Auburn tied at 7.5. Come on. He's going to either play a bad quarterback that he had last year or he's going to have to play a freshman. I do expect that that's going to be one of the tough games for Oklahoma on the road. First game on the road in the SEC, going to Jordan-Hare Stadium. They're going to be ready to play it. I think they've got every bit of an opportunity to win there. Okay. The rest of these, you could kind of quibble with them if you want to. The one I'm going to really quibble with is this one. Texas at 10.5. Get the freaking crap out of here. All right. They've got a lot of talent. They recruited very well again. They're going to be super talented. They got their quarterback back. That's probably their biggest advantage coming in. That and that JV schedule that the Longhorns play. That includes Mississippi State, Vandy, Arkansas, Kentucky, all those bottom 4, aside from South Carolina. They also get A&M. And let's see. And then they play Georgia along with Oklahoma. After they get done with the Georgia game, their remaining games in SEC play were combined 14 games below 500 in 2023. 14 games. I don't see them getting a lot better. Now, the problem with Texas is I don't see Texas beating Oklahoma. Oklahoma was already tougher. They already won in the trenches. I know that everybody's really concerned about that offensive line. I'm not so much, though. If you remember correctly, the Red River game, everybody, the entire week leading up to it, all you heard was how it was going to be Texas was going to dominate the trenches, both sides of the ball. Their offensive line is mostly intact, but their defensive line is basically gone, basically gone. T'Vondre Sweat, along with Byron Murphy, both headed to the draft this year. Not to mention, they lost Bo Davis, their defensive line coach. They hired a guy who's never been a position coach. He was an assistant position coach with the Dolphins. We'll see. We'll see what he's about. The bottom line is they got a bunch of young guys coming in on that D line. This is going to be tough. They did pick up a decent pickup in the portal. Colin Simmons is coming in. I like him there. But last year, supposedly they were going to dominate that part of the at the line of scrimmage on both sides. They didn't. They didn't with their offensive line. They lost one of their offensive linemen. They keep the other four. But they didn't on the defensive line either. Oklahoma's O-line pretty much dominated that side of it too. They were not able to stop. They didn't get to Dylan Gabriel very much. They weren't able to stop the run game. This was a game that they were able to get done. Oklahoma has most of its defense coming back. Yeah, they're going to be replacing some linemen, but a lot of it, they had already kind of replaced them throughout the year, guys that were starting to start with. There's some guys that, hey, look, I trust in Bill Bedenbaugh. That I'm not that concerned about. New quarterback, okay. You want to talk about that? I've said many times that you probably prefer having a guy with a lot of experience like Dylan Gabriel going into your first season in the SEC. Not to mention the fact that you do play so many really good teams in your schedule, right? You've got Alabama at home. You've got Tennessee at home, right? You've got South Carolina at home. That's probably their one gimme. Then you've got LSU on the road, Mizzou on the road, Ole Miss on the road. It's tough, right? Now, what I would tell you is I don't know that any of those teams, including Ole Miss, who everybody loves from the portal, they shouldn't scare any Oklahoma fans. Are they going to be tough games to win? Sure. But the thing is that they have more talent and, to me, better coaching than any of those other teams. Tennessee included, Ole Miss included. Look, when Lane Kiffin wins a big game, whether at home or not, I know they're tough at home. When he wins a game in the SEC that's big, it'll be the first one, pretty much. He has underachieved, and I feel like they're probably going to underachieve again. Mizzou was a paper 11-win team and soft paper, right? They struggled. They were losing in the fourth quarter of the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State, who was down to their third-string quarterback, had a bunch of guys opt out. Kyle McCord wasn't even there, and they still struggled. They got a couple of late TDs in the fourth quarter to win 14-3. They got beat by LSU at home. They lost their defensive coordinator and most of their defensive staff. What I'm telling you is as good as they're going to be on offense, I don't buy them. I don't trust them. And I think that all this crap that's been talked and all this stuff that happened with Caden Green, not to mention the fact that they did get Williams Winery, a guy that had been expected to go to Oklahoma. Look, these are Missouri guys, right? They're from Kansas City, from the Missouri side of it. It's not that surprising that Drink was able to keep them there. If you look back at what he's done, 5 wins, 6 wins, 5 wins, then he gets 11. They don't have a very tough schedule either, but I can guarantee you that Oklahoma's going to go in there ready to win. The other thing is, as I said, this defense is primed and ready to go. I don't believe that the Oklahoma offense has to be top 10 in order for them to win a lot of these games. Okay. Now, as you can see here, you've got the Oklahoma schedule here. Now, and make no mistake, this is a tough schedule. No two ways around it. I think in the preseason, you probably only should have to worry about the Houston game, and I don't know how much you're really going to have to worry about that. But Willie Fritz is a hell of a coach. We'll give him that. That being said, that's a win. If you go through and you look starting at the Tennessee game, you know, Tennessee's at home. And look, I think they're going to be really good. I like Nico a lot. I think that Josh Heupel showed a lot when it came to what they were able to do defensively. He kept his defensive line coach around. They're going to be strong again this year. I still don't think they're coming into Norman and winning that game. I just don't think they are, right? You turn around the next week, I'm going to give Oklahoma a win. There are a lot of people you could give it a half. If you want to do it that half or whatever, fine, okay? But I would tell you that while I think that could be one of their possible losses, I expect them to win that one. The next one would be at Auburn. Now, Auburn's going to be better, and I like Hugh Freeze as a coach. This is on the road, and at Jordan-Hare Stadium, anything can happen. Anything like New Mexico State can go in there and beat them. So don't tell me how hard it is to win at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Do I believe they're going to be better? Yeah. Hugh Freeze is a hell of a coach, but I also think that he's probably at least a year away from being as talented as Oklahoma. They're certainly not as talented as OU now, right? And throwing a bunch of guys together in the portal has not proven to be a winning strategy yet, okay? It just hasn't. One or two guys here and there, some of your skill guys, whatever, but gelling, it doesn't always happen, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and you know, you could probably – that's one of the ones that I've been kind of hedging on. I probably think it's probably a toss-up game. You know, you would probably give them a half. I will never pick Texas as long as I see UT. They're just not I think it was very evident who the tougher team was in the Red River this past year. You've got your emotional leaders coming back, Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman. They're going to be better on defense. I don't see why they don't win this game. I'm giving them a win there. South Carolina's a win. Ole Miss. Yeah, that could be another loss. That would be a toss-up game, I would think. It's on the road. I believe that they have an opportunity to win it. And I think that they, again, I don't know. It's until I see Lane win one that matters, a big game, I'm going to struggle with that. At this point, I think they're probably undefeated. That would make it a huge game for them. Okay. I'm going to go with Ole Miss. Maine's obviously a win. Then you got Mizzou on the road. Look, I know everybody's sexy pick to win. It's Mizzou. Okay? It's Mizzou. I'm not buying them. All right? I'm going to give that a win there. The Alabama game and the LSU game, these are your games that you're probably going to have to worry about. Okay? What I would show you is this. On the road, LSU, if they're anything good, and if it's at night, that's probably going to be a loss, right? I've been picking that as probably one of the losses for the year. Could they go into Death Valley and win? Sure, maybe. I think talent-wise, and if you get on a roll, possibly so. That's going to require Jackson Arnold he's going to have to really grow up this year on the fly and hopefully do very well. Again, I don't know how great they have to be offensively. I think they have to be pretty good. You don't need him to win games. What you want him to do is not turn the ball over and lose them for you, okay? Again, let them sleep on them, but I think the more that they sleep, the better they're going to be. If they make the big jump on the defensive side of the ball, and with most of these guys coming back from last year, It was an improvement from the year before. You've got some freshmen that are probably going to make an impact. You've got a couple of sophomores, redshirt freshmen that you know are about to make an impact. And you got Danny Stutzman and Billy Bowman back. If they can make a jump into the top 30 or so defensively, just mostly shutting down in the trenches, that's where it matters the most. Okay. You've got a hell of a lot of great skill guys that are going to go well with Jackson Arnold. We know he can throw the ball much better than could Dylan Gabriel. Is he, well, he may be prone for interceptions. The hope is that he doesn't have a timing issue because we know his arm talent is the real deal. We saw that for sure. All right, so as you can see here, here's what everybody has to say. After the projections came out, of course, you had a lot of people from Mizzou, namely, talking a bunch of crap. Now, this actually had Oklahoma at like 6.5 at first. They bumped it to 7.5, which is still crazy to me. You got this clown saying betting the under, even at 6.5. This guy's saying the same thing. Oklahoma under 7.5. Mississippi State, though, over. Texas, over. Georgia, under. Right? That makes a lot of sense. This clown says Sooners are going to get thumped on November 9th, and it'll be so satisfying. He's got them winning exactly one SEC game. One. Funny, right? These guys are all saying a bunch of crap. No one is scared of broke you. We're going to keep stealing your players. Yes, you'll be like 8-4. OU will be lucky to win 6 games. 5-7, says Mizzouology. Yeah, right. Here is another projection of 6 wins. This is actually up. It went up today. 6.5 for the projected win totals from this tweet. Then you also have some Facebook folks. Not that I get on there very much, but it popped up there earlier. These folks from Alabama have been loving it on there as well. Oklahoma and Texas aren't real teams. They're in for a rude awakening. You've heard that a bunch, right? I think when you are as disrespectful about these two programs, it gives you an opportunity to really – I think it's probably going to piss off OU. It should piss off OU, right? You would hope so. And this is a blue blood program that does not expect to lose. Could you see some losses? Sure. I don't see the losses, any of them coming in those first 3 games. And I got to tell you, as I said a while ago, I really believe that the Tennessee game is a win, right? That's a win for me. The green, I'm saying these are wins, okay? As I gave you the reason why. South Carolina, there's no way Stat Guys boys are winning in Norman, not happening. The Ole Miss game, I still believe this is one of those games. I think it's going to be a tough one, and I like Lane Kiffin overall, but he hasn't won any big games, and this is going to be one of those type of games. If Oklahoma comes into this thing with maybe 1 loss or even 2, I'm not guessing that Ole Miss is going to be unbeaten, but even if they are, they could mess up their whole year right there. I'm going to leave it as a toss-up for the moment. Obviously, you've got Maine as a win. Missouri's a win to me. The only one that I'm calling as a loss would probably be this LSU game. We're going to see what ends up happening. My expectation is that at Baton Rouge, Brian Kelly's a hell of a coach. That's a tough game. It's probably going to be a night game. If they haven't fallen apart by that time, you can expect that to be a tough one. It may be an L. But the more I think about this one, this is the one that it is a toss-up to me, right? It is a toss-up to me. So essentially, I have 3 toss-ups. I don't see them losing all 3 of them. And I do believe that when you get Alabama at home, you've got a situation that's a little bit shaky there. New coach, new whole everything going on. I think a lot of Kalen DeBoer, but I think it's just a tough situation in year 1 for him. And this might be your year to get him. right? If you're going to get them, you get them at home. Before they get their recruiting under their feet, before he's able to really shore up his, because look, it is just bad timing for trying to hire coaches. And then he had 2 coaches run off, after, after the portal closed, thankfully for him. But I think that you get a full year to find guys heading into it. We'll figure out kind of what happens, and he's going to adjust well. He does that, right? He does that. I think this is an opportunity to win. At worst, I think it's a toss-up. This is one of the ones I think they could win. I also really think that they probably win the Ole Miss game. I know they're going to be there's something in me that just knows they're going to beat Mizzou. I just know they are. Okay. The LSU game will be the only one I think is probably a loss. I've said a lot lately that I think 9-3 is right. If you're looking at these toss-up games, I believe that you're not going to lose them all, right? You're not going to lose them all. I think if you win one of those, that's 2 losses, and I think that you lose the LSU game, that's 9-3. Certainly over the 7.5. I could see them going 10-2. It depends on how hot they get. If this defense is what we think it might be in year 3 under Brent Venables, got a new defensive coordinator that knows exactly what he wants done. This is a big year to take a step forward. Is it a tough one? Yeah. When you compare this schedule to the one that Texas has, it's not even close. I understand why they're picking them to go where they are. Aside from that D-line, they lost their best running back. They've got some good running backs, okay? But most of their defensive line, they lost a lot of guys on defense. And all their skill guys, they're portaled in. Now, Black, really good. They've got some good receivers coming in as well. But you gotta, if you're saying that they're going to win 11 games or be on the over at 10.5 or even at 10, that means that they gelled together immediately. That's a lot to ask for. And the same goes for Ole Miss. I believe that Oklahoma is going to continue to have Texas's number. I just do. They've won 7 out of 10. They've been doing that for a long time. And I believe that this is the time that they kind of establish that dominance. Everybody's sleeping on OU right now, but let them sleep. I think it's great that they are. Guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this. The win totals, we're going to do some stuff. In fact, we are launching a new show coming up on Thursday. Be sure to come check it out. Myself, SEC Mo, and then we will have, I believe we're going to have Coach I on there as well. It's called No Cap SEC. Be sure to come and check that out. It will be at 9:30 Eastern Time, Thursday night on Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the Coach. That channel. Make sure you get over there and check that out at CFB-pod. Check out our official show merchandise, guys. There's a lot of that Texas stuff, the Texas Sucks gear in there as well. You can get amazing coffee from Devil Dogs Brew and Beans, veteran-owned, serving veterans. And don't forget to check out the amazing deal from Mint Mobile, our newest partner, $45 for 3 months. $45 for 3 months. Let me know what you think in the comments. Very important that you do that. Share this channel with your friends, all you Oklahoma fans. I need you to jump over from the other one because we're going to start putting all of our content for OU on this channel. So get in there and check that out. Give me your expectations. Tell me where I'm crazy if you want to. But make sure you hit that like button. We'll see you on the next one.